I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. That includes movies and TV shows and comic books and video games and just anything nerdy that I'm into, we talk about here. So today I want to talk about the Netflix original movie Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, Your Life. Dragon Quest means something to me. It means something to me. So let's back up. I'm 9 years old. I've got the Nintendo, and I still have my NES plugged in right under here, right now on my desk. I've got it plugged in. So I'm 9 years old. I've got my NES, and I subscribe to Nintendo Power magazine. Remember Nintendo Power? Well, as a part of the promotional for subscribing to Nintendo Power magazine, I get a free game sent to me. And that free game is Dragon Warrior. Dragon Warrior. Now, Dragon Warrior is it's a American version of Dragon Quest. They're essentially the same game. Really, they are essentially the same game. Some villains are called different names. The title is slightly different. It was changed from Dragon Quest to Dragon Warrior. And like I said, some villains have some slightly different names, some spells have slightly different names, but for the most part, it's the exact same game. Well, I gotta tell you, I got this game at a time when I was playing Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. And I was really into this type of game. And I became obsessed with Dragon Warrior. Obsessed with it. So my dad is somebody, him and I, we would spend hours downstairs playing fantasy role-playing games like this. My dad was also really into Zork on the Commodore 64. Remember Zork, anybody? Let me know in the comments down below if you remember Zork from the Commodore 64. Because my dad spent hours playing that game. Well, my dad and I, we would spend hours playing Dragon Warrior. Trying to beat it. Hours. And you know what? We never beat it. We never beat Dragon Warrior because we get to those dungeons and we just didn't know what to do, where to go. We'd get lost, we'd get frustrated, and we never beat Dragon Warrior. And that was something that always kind of hung over my head. And you know, I kind of have this for kind of nostalgia reasons. I don't really play the NES much anymore. Even though it's plugged in right now, able to play at this moment. I don't really play it much anymore. This is mostly for nostalgia. But we spent hours playing this, me and my dad. Well, when I got my Nintendo Switch, we had the option of downloading Dragon Quest. And I did. I downloaded Dragon Quest. And I was able, this happened within the last 3 or 4 months. Within the last 3 or 4 months, I was able to beat Dragon Quest on the Switch. And I actually took some pictures. So here's my Switch. And here's some pictures of those last screens on Dragon Quest, of me being able to defeat the Dragon Lord. LQ. Yep. I'm getting some reflection here. But the end. Guys, I was able to defeat Dragon Quest. Essentially, it's Dragon Warrior. I beat it after decades. After decades of being invested in this game. Probably 30 plus years, 32 years of it. When I beat Dragon Quest, it was like me finally achieving victory over something that had hung over my head for 30, 32, 33 years. I beat you. It may not have been on the NES, but I beat you. And I was really excited about that. And since then, so Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, like I said, it means something to me. It is an important game to me. It's one of those games that laid the foundation for my video game fandom. It really did. And I've since gone on, where is it? Bear with me for 1 second here. I've since gone on and I downloaded Dragon Quest II. And now Dragon Quest II is a mission of mine. I'm going to get Dragon... And it's not going to take me 33 years to beat Dragon Quest II. It's not. So I did not even know that Dragon Quest Your Life, the movie, existed. And apparently it came out last year. I didn't even know it existed. I was kind of just swiping through Netflix, seeing what there was to watch, and I saw the slime from Dragon Quest on it. And I was like, did they make a Dragon Quest movie? And I clicked it and I was like, they made a Dragon Quest movie. And I was so excited. I was beside myself with excitement. So immediately I watched this movie. So what did I think of Dragon Quest Your Life? Oh man, it spoke to me. It spoke to me. This movie spoke to me. So the first couple minutes, it brought back waves of nostalgia. Even though I've played the games recently, it brought back waves of nostalgia because it opens up telling the story on the overhead shot with the characters walking around and talking like they do in the game, in that 8-bit original game. And then it ends up transitioning to more of a CGI animated feature. And it was beautiful. Guys, this was straight to Netflix. It was subtitled. I assume it came out in Japan before it came out here. But I gotta tell you, if this is the kind of animation quality they're putting out in Japan, we need to get more Japanese animated movies now, yesterday, this minute. It says that it's anime, but it didn't strike me as anime. Nothing about it struck me as anime. And I'm not an anime fan. I've tried. Goodness, I've tried. Because I know so many people that love it. And I just can't get into anime. And this didn't strike me as anime. Now, there was some stuff in it that was reminiscent of anime, but this was definitely more like a CGI animated film. Something, guys, this was Pixar quality. This was a Pixar quality animated movie. And it was just beautiful. The animation was beautiful. How about the story? The story was good. The story was solid. For, the first act, second act was very solid storytelling. It definitely didn't shy away from a lot of the fantasy tropes that we get, but it did take some nice turns towards the end of the second act that really surprised me in terms of what they did with our hero character. And, he's on the mission. He's on that hero mission. Am I the hero? Am I the chosen one? Am I destined to save the world? He's on that hero mission. And when he finds out, there's a point in the movie where he finds out he's not the hero and somebody close to him is. And that took me by surprise. That kind of shocked me a little bit. But then we get to the end of the movie. And, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but at the end of the movie, when we realize that he actually is the hero, and that shouldn't be a spoiler because I think everybody knows that eventually, no matter what twists and turns we take, the main hero of the movie is going to be the main hero. But when we get to the end, there's a big twist, a big reveal at the end, and I gotta tell you, as a fan of the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games, as somebody who spent hours and hours of his life playing these games, the end spoke to me. As a fan of Dragon Quest, as a fan of Dragon Warrior, the end spoke to me. And it just brought back waves of nostalgia, waves of who I've become as a fan, waves of who I've become as a gamer. I mean, this movie, for 2/3, probably 4/5 of it, was kind of a standard animated, very well animated feature film. And then that last bit, the conclusion, the climax, it was just, my jaw just hit the floor because I couldn't believe they were going there. And they were, and all of a sudden I was in the movie. I was transported in the movie. It's called Dragon Quest Your Life. And it's called that for a reason, guys. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you're a fan of these games, at the end, they effectively transport you into the movie. And it was brilliant the way it was handled. I can't say enough about the brilliance of the end of this movie. The animation was beautiful. The first 2/3, the first 4/5 or so was pretty traditional animated story for fantasies. But at the end, bam! It was something special. It was something special. So I don't want to spoil anything because if you're a Dragon Quest fan, you need to experience this. But guys, this is an A. I give this movie an A. This movie was wonderful. And I'm sorry that I didn't know that it even existed until yesterday. Because like I said, it says on Netflix that it came out in 2019. I didn't even know about it. But guys, this is brilliant. This is wonderful. And I loved it. It's an A. So I think that if you're not a fan of Dragon Quest, if you're not a fan of Dragon Warrior, you'll get some enjoyment out of it if you're a fan of animation. If you're a fan of like fantasy animation, there's certainly enjoyment here to be had. But guys, if you're a Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest fan, you're going to flip over this. I really think you're going to love it. So like I said, for me, it's an A. For somebody who's not a Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest fan, maybe it doesn't quite reach those heights, but this movie spoke to me, and I loved it. So what did you guys think of Dragon Quest, Your Life? Are you a fan of the original game? If you are, I think you're going to give it high marks. So what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take. And again, guys, thank you so much for being here at the LQ Review. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.